Okay, so I am very reluctant to make this video because what I have watched and what I have seen is disheartening. But I also know from being homeless myself, living in the streets in Pittsburgh, it's cruel, it's merciless, and it's a way of life for many of them. And as you see there in Kensington Avenue, on Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia there, those people are facing a real crisis. And what's even more horrifying is that it's getting worse. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And it seems like every time I turn on YouTube, I'm seeing these videos pop up about Kensington Avenue. And I think it's the reason why is because my algorithms are showing that up, because I watched a few of the videos through the advice of and suggestions of friends of mine and colleagues, and I said, you need to check this out because, you know, this is right up your alley. And I watched them and I studied them, and now I'm giving my reaction to it. And I don't think you're going to like what I have to say in this video, and I think some of you are going to be offended, but I think the people who watch my videos who are addicts in recovery and alcoholics in recovery might understand it a little bit better than a person who has never suffered from addiction and homelessness. But I can tell you that probably 80%, 85%, I'll even go as high as 90, I'll question 90, but as far as 85% goes, the people in those videos are going to die out in those streets. There's no hope for them. They are beyond help. Addiction, as many of you know, is not an overnight process. It's a very strung out, earned one. So is sobriety. And those people out there don't want to procure sobriety. They want to procure death. And I know that sounds heartless, but I am telling you that the mind of an addict is very unlike anything you've ever can even possibly dream, for those of you who have never used hardcore. You know, those of you who have never had drug addicts or alcoholics in your family. I live and grow up here in Pittsburgh. I come from a family of steel workers. I come from a family of big, hard drinkers. Both of my grandfathers were hard drinkers. My father was a hard drinker. His brothers were a hard drinker. My uncles were hard drinkers. They all worked in a mill. They were all steel workers. Alcohol was a part of my life, like, you know, bread and butter in your kitchen. I mean, it was there, and we grew up around it. Luckily for me, I can say this with honesty and thankfulness that, you know, I was not abused. I was not hurt. Despite the heavy drinking that went on in my family, you know, they went to work and did what they had to do. These people, in case you haven't noticed and you haven't watched the videos carefully, they're not capable of doing that. They're not capable of taking care of themselves. They're not capable of making a living, and they're not capable of being repurposed back into society. The only way that's going to ever happen for them is if they decide to clean up themselves. It starts with them first. You know, instead of, what's the old saying? Instead of giving the man a fish, teach him how to fish. They have to relearn and restructure their lives. And I am here to tell you that in the conditions in which they've already been placed through them, exclusively through their own volition, it's going to be a very hard task for them to get out. And I know that there's a lot of bright people in those circles that can make themselves available again and be productive members of society. I know it. I know it for a fact. But it starts with them. These people, and I'm going to leave a couple of links below my video here so you can see what, in case you don't know and you haven't watched them. I'm going to select a couple of very careful channels that I've been watching, and you can see for yourself and see where I'm coming from. These people are sleeping on top of trash. They're shooting up during the day in front of everybody, even a person that has a camera. Where's the self-dignity and respect? You know, where I live right now, if I was to sit, we have sidewalk cafes here, and if I was to sit there and pull out a needle and shoot up, guess what? I'd get arrested. I'd get arrested for drug possession and paraphernalia. These people are falling asleep with needles in their arms. They're getting chewed on by rats at night, and that's not an exaggeration, guys. It's not. I know. I've seen it. I witnessed it. I know what happens to these people. I was with a whole bunch of drug addicts in Pittsburgh. I know what these people go through on a daily basis and what they put themselves through. And they have reached, very simply, what we call the point of no return. Until these people can take responsibility for their own lives, they will never find a purpose in society except doing what they're doing now. These people are falling asleep, standing up, and they're hunched over like a zombie apocalypse. And a lot of people have said that, you know, below the comments of these videos, and that's exactly what it reminds me of. The only difference is this is real. This is happening every day. This has been happening for a long time in bigger cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, New York City, and in very unfortunate and extreme cases and examples of Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon is just going to shit. These people are not productive members of society. If anything, they bring the property value of the cities down. This isn't a Democrat or Republican problem, and I want you to hear me very carefully because I don't want to bring politics into it because it doesn't mean a thing. Republicans or Democrats, I don't give a shit who gets elected. It's not going to change. I'll say it one more time. I don't give a shit who gets elected. It's not going to change. One more time. I don't give a shit who's elected. It will not change. It starts with them. Round these people up, put them in a place somewhere in the city where they can shoot up, shit up, dope up, do what they want to do, and just leave them there. Because they're being left there anyways. This way, the people and citizens, the good, hardworking, honest citizens of Philadelphia can start reclaiming these neighborhoods back and put them into a better use instead of having junkies fall over each other and shooting up in front of kids, shooting up in front of old folks, shooting in front of anyone, disrespecting in every conceivable way, in every unimaginable way. This is the hard reality of addiction. In fact, these videos, and I'm going to post links below this one, should be shown in schools. Not that, you know, teenagers don't have access to YouTube, because they do, obviously. But these, I think, if they're shown in a collective environment, it's going to have more of an impact. These people are never going to get out of it. As some, and I've said this before in my videos, as one very wise man told me once, there's a difference between being homeless and being a bum. You know, when you're homeless, it's a very dismal situation. It works on you night and day. It works on you physically. It works on you mentally. And there's times you want to give up. There's times that you don't want to have anything to do with yourself. There's times you don't want to have anything to do with the services that are offered to you. You just feel like you want to give up, and I was that way many times. But I pulled myself together. I put myself in a homeless situation. I made some bad choices, and I suffered the consequences. And having said that, I also pulled myself out. I got my shit together, and I'm at where I'm at right now. They can do the same if they want. But I understand. I really understand when you're in a homeless situation, man, it's pretty dismal. You almost think it's a death penalty, but I assure you it's not. Those people can get out of that if they want. They have to wake up from their high and say, you know what, I'm tired of sleeping on garbage bags, and I'm tired of sleeping in my own shit and vomit. Maybe I should clean myself up. And just maybe if they gave themselves a chance, they could do that. Nobody's going to give them that chance. There's no service in that city that they can utilize that's going to be magic and have their life, you know, rebuilt from the ground up 100% and live happily ever after in Philadelphia. It's not going to work that way. That's not how life works. Life is brutal. Life is a process. The race is long. The journey's long. But you always have a choice. You always have a choice. And those people have one. And they need to make it.